See, relax, my vision is so bad, I can't read nothing on that side.
Sonya, what are you upset?
Oh, grab my glasses right now.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna. So you guys get a good paying attention to on prep. All right. Oh, okay. How many years you got in school? 13. 13? But you're in you're in recruitment. Oh, you're in recruitment. Is anybody in school safety?
That's okay, we can talk to them. We can talk to them.
You talk?
Yeah, we can talk.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. All right. Listen up. Pay attention, especially you, Jordan, Matan, all you guys. All right. All right. These are two officers. These are not school safety officers. These are regular officers. NYPD, right? Officer Steffens and Officer
Stevens and Officer Bradley.
Detective and Officer Bradley. All right. Excuse me. All right. So this is what happens. There's four units in the city of New York. There's 4 agencies that have a 20-year retirement. You have to understand, that's a very important thing, 20-year retirement, right? That's the police department, NYPD, the fire department, corrections department, those are, prison guards, and sanitation. Don't sleep on sanitation. Sanitation has a 20-year retirement, right? What does that mean? After 20 years, you get half. So say you did $50,000, and you get half of that, would be $25,000, right? Realistic, today's numbers, somewhere from $100,000 to $150,000 you're gonna make in your last year. That means for the rest of your life, you have $75,000, to $100,000, whatever. What did I say, 100? Well, $50,000 to $75,000, right? Retirement forever, right? That's important, because the only reason I'm here as a coach is because I did 28 and a half years in NYPD, right? 28 and a half years, that's a serious retirement. Because once you get to 20, when you're going from 20 to 25, your pension pretty much doubles. So that doubles, right? Pretty much? Yeah. Pretty much. It might be to 26 or 27, but it definitely doubles, right? So remember, I was just talking about like the $75,000 pension. You're talking, you stay on 5 more years, you're going to get like, $150,000 pension.
Do you guys know what a pension is? What he's saying, a pension.
Do you know what a pension is? Who knows? Who doesn't know what a pension is? You understand what a pension? Pension means you don't go to work and they pay you. You don't go to work and they pay you, right? Now let me make this a little bit more clear, right? So why does it matter and I'm trying to push for school safety, right? Because for school safety, now you guys got assistants, right?
Assistant school safety.
Assistants. How old do you have to be for that?
18 to be hired.
18 to be hired. Is there a test?
There is an application. Yeah, there's an application. Yeah.
Just an application?
Yep.
Okay? So from when you're 18, right? This is important. This is why I want my boxers on game right here. This is real important to me, and it should be important to you. Because I know some of you want to become boxers, right? Right? You want to become boxers, or you want to go how far you could go. Whether you win in the ring masters, whether you win in the nationals, whether you're going professional, becoming a world champion, or you're becoming a gatekeeper, right? So, right? And by the way, you know that Sonya was world champion, professional heavyweight world champion.
And
right?
a school teacher.
And a school
So
teacher.
I had a backup plan.
Right, right. So this is what it is. Right now you go to school, you come to the gym, right? But now you're out of school. Well, some of you are out of school, right? Some of you are over 18. If you're out of high school, imagine going there and becoming a school safety agent assistant, right? Just taking the thing, getting a paycheck. So you're going to, it's just like going to school, except you're getting paid, right? You're going to school, but now you're getting paid. You understand what I'm saying? You're getting medical coverage, right? That if you got to, if you get hurt or something, you want to go see a doctor, you can, right? It's just a copay. Instead of having crooked teeth your whole life, you go to the dentist to get them clean, right? You have a dental plan, right? And then you're working on pension years, right? This is the important thing about a pension. if you want to try a police career or you want to try other things, right? And I'm not saying you have to be a cop. You could become a fireman or those other things. You become corrections, you become sanitation. But suppose you do 10 years as a school safety agent, and then you do 20, right? So I'm talking about till you're like 28 years old, somewhere around there, and you say, all right, I'm going to become a cop, and then you do 20 years as a cop. You're only 50 years old. When you retire, your pension that would have been 20 years as a cop has now become a 30-year pension. A 30-year pension will more than double it. You understand what I'm talking about? Like, if you're a cop and you're about to retire and you're making like, say, $150,000, that's an average cop salary, right? $150,000. You're getting something like, with a 30-year pension, you're getting something like $200,000. Do you understand what I mean? At 50 years old, right? Right? So, your questions to these guys shouldn't be like, oh, if I should join. It's like, when and how. How can I join this? You understand? Okay? No weed smoking. If any of you smoke weed, that's no good. You won't pass the test. No weed smoking. And then, as far as you stealing your friend's phone or something like that, and we have to get it settled, we'll help you out with that later on. But now I'm going to give you attention then. I want your full attention to these two, because this right here can change the rest of your life. This might be the first step in the rest of your life. Well, your first step was coming into the gym and meeting us, but this could be the next step, and this could be a very important step. So you guys got it from me.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. So good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Let's get a little louder. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I appreciate y'all. So let me introduce myself, and I'll also introduce my partner, Detective Stevens. This is my partner, Officer Bradford. We are from the recruitment section. So basically, we go out and recruit individuals for jobs, right? People that may have an interest in working for NYPD, or they have an interest in working for a city agency. They may have a little bit of an inclination that they kind of see what we do, like what we do, want to inquire more, right, about what we do. And then we help them to become employed, right? That's what we do. So that's our job, that's our motivation always, right? So if you even look at our table at a mall and we have eye contact, I'm gonna rope you in just to at least to get information, right? Exactly, right? His brother's laughing, right? He probably see me out there, right? But if you even look at this table, I know you might be slightly interested, right? And that's very important. But first of all, I want to actually congratulate y'all because it's hot outside. There's a lot of things you could be doing with your training. And what that tells me is you guys are disciplined. And this career path, this choice, this option requires some discipline, right? The brother over here, he came, he had his manila envelope ready. He probably got some kind of resume. He had questions. He came up to me already. I know he's a serious person, right? And that's what it requires, right? We're at that age now. I see that some of you guys are probably like, what? How old are you guys over here, right here?
Me?
Yeah.
I just turned 17 last
17 years old. I see some guys up here that might be like maybe 23, right? There's a range here, right? And this is about the age where things start getting real, right? You gotta ask yourself some serious questions. Where do I see myself in the future? What do I see myself doing? What kind of life do I want to live? Where do I want to live? What do I want to drive? Do I want to have a family? Do I want to send myself to school? Do I want to? These are all the things that we, as young men, young women, should be thinking about, right? And this opportunity could make anything happen in your life, right? Now, there's a plethora of things that we offer, and I'm going to get into each one. I'm going to do briefly each one, and then later on, we're going to invite you to the table to discuss more the options that you have. So we came down here to talk about school safety agents, or really assistant school safety agents, right? But I'm going to talk about everything, because I want to give you the full run from start to finish about what your options are. Just because you start one place doesn't mean you have to end up another place. So I'll give you a brief introduction about me. My family's from the Caribbean. I grew up in Brooklyn. Me, my brother and I, my mother in Canarsie, 90s, Crown Heights, Canarsie. I never thought I'd be a cop. Never. In a million years. I went to college. My God, I'm gonna do finance. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna run numbers. That was boring as hell. It was not a career where I felt fulfilled, right? I always felt that I could be doing more. I never felt as passionate about, that type of work. like most kids do, I got in trouble. I got booked one day, sublight, right? And it was a life-changing experience for me, right? Because I had a police officer who kind of explained to me what was going on and what happened, right? And I kind of said to myself, okay, I had a little stain in my mind. I didn't really like the fact that that happened, right? But it always was in my mind, like if I were to serve my community, this is how I would want to do it. That was always in my mind. 10 years later, I met another cop under different circumstances. He said, yo, you should take the test, you should take the test. I said, nah, I graduated, I'm in finance, I'm working for this great company, until the layoffs start happening, right? And then something starts going off again, like I need to get in a career where I can kind of sustain myself, I can have a future. I took the test one Friday afternoon, and the rest is history. Here I am, 13 years later, and I have 7 more years to retire, okay? But I say this to say, just because you start one place doesn't mean that you end up at next, right? You guys are young, right? You should try a bunch of different things, all right? The NYPD does allow for you to jump around and try different things within the NYPD. For example, I know cops who are registered nurses. I know cops who, have like experience in IT before. They come in the gun and shield, and they end up working within the IT. Yeah, they carry a gun and shield, and they're cops by title, but they have a specialty. I worked in the 7-3, I worked in Brownsville, right? Someone thought I was good at, talking to people and convincing people to come to, do different things and be a part of different community events. And here I am today in recruitment, which is really glorified HR, right? I'm here recruiting people. And all of a sudden, when I went through the academy, damn, I would like to teach one day. I like to, help people out to kind of figure out what their goals and what their options are. And here I am, a couple of years later doing exactly what I thought about. So just where you start doesn't mean where you finish, right? So that being said, as early as 14 years old, you could begin your career with NYPD, right? So at 14 years old, you could be an explorer. Explorers are people who come into the precinct, they help out with different tasks. They may do a little volunteering in terms of cleaning up the community. They may paint over buildings that are like houses of worship that are graffiti. But what it does is it builds that kind of acumen, that kind of like, hey, I gotta think about my community at large, right? I gotta think about not only myself, but also making sure that people in my community are good. And that's an explorer. So between 14 and 20 years old, you can be an explorer. You're not making money yet, right? It's all volunteer. But when you step into 18 years old as a cadet, NYPD does help pay for college, right? As early as 18 years old, once you're enrolled in school and you provide proof that you are enrolled in school, NYPD would pay you up to $20,000 towards your college career, just for your tuition, right? And they'll also pay you up to $60,000 towards your pocket because they'll hire you as an intern doing administrative tasks. And they'll take you throughout your whole career, right? Now, people don't give you something for nothing, right? So if you pretty much want to not have to pay back that $20,000, you could agree to become a cop for at least 2 years, and that money that was given to you is forgiven. So that's option number 1 and option number 2. So we talked about explorers, we talked about cadets, right? Now, let's talk about some of the full-time opportunities, right? And I'm gonna talk about assistant school safety agent. At 18 years old, you could be hired by NYPD as an assistant school safety agent. You could be working in the public schools under the supervision of a school safety agent. And your job is to assist in the task. And pretty much keeping the most precious part of our community safe, which is our kids, right? So you work in grade school and you make sure posts are covered, the entrances are covered, kids are able to come into the school safely, they remain safe in school and also during dismissal. And I'm sure how many of you guys went to public school? You know what school safety agents do, right? For the most part, right? You assist them in performing those tasks, right? You could then branch off and say, you know what? I want to become a school safety agent, right? A school safety agent is pretty much to get the job. Like any of these jobs that we have up here, you have to take what's called a DCAS examination or a civil service exam. And I employ all you folks tonight. And we're here to assist as well. You guys should be looking at all of these exams. Every week, we should be checking to see when these exams come out. Now, I'm representing NYPD, but if you guys are ever interested in working for MTA, you guys are interested in working for sanitation, FDNY, those are where all those exams sit, right? And you should become very familiar with navigating that site. I used to check that site every single day, sometimes twice a day, to see what exams were coming out. And I took corrections, I took MTA, I took, I'm still on the list for MTA, but I'm not going over, it's too late for me, right? And I would take those exams every time they came out, so I would provide options for myself, right? But this kind of fell into play for me, right? At any rate, so school safety agent now, right? And I'll talk a little bit about school safety agent. School safety agent, the pay starts at $40,000 after 5 years of service. You're at approximately $58,000, and I think that actually went up slightly, right? Again, another job where you have a pension, you're in a union. Do people understand how a pension system works? Yeah? All right, I'm gonna pick up this brother right here. You mind? How does a pension system work, brother?
That's the money you get after you retire. Like you get a paycheck
Right.
every 2 weeks to a week, I think.
It's close, every month.
Every month,
right?
right? Yeah.
So after I retire, because I'm in a pension plan, I will get a check every month for X amount of dollars. It all depends on how much overtime you did, what rank you landed at, for the rest of my life, right? Now, most people are working until what age? What age? I'm asking this young man right here with the camera.
Like 50.
Go up, bro.
65.
65, 70, 65,
Yeah,
70.
it's going up. It's going up. Teachers right now, I'm sorry. Where's the principal? I'm sorry. But yeah, it's that age keeps going up, right? Now, most of my colleagues who retire from NYPD retire in their 40s, right? So imagine retiring at 41, 42 years old, 43 years old, and getting paid for the rest of your life. But not only that, we as city employees, we as working for the NYPD are constantly trained. We constantly do classes. There are constantly things that are required for us to do. And that builds an acumen that you could then sell yourself when you retire. So you always find yourself employed. A lot of us, are consultants after, right? Security consultants. We go and teach. We want to teach in private schools. We have the ability to do so much because of what you learn on this job for free. Literally, you could download your list of courses that you took from day one when you start within the NYPD. And that list of courses makes you so much more marketable to do so many things afterwards, right? So we talked a little bit about school safety, right? That's one option you have available to you, okay? The other option you have available to you is 911 operator. As a 911 operator, you're pretty much in dispatch. There's 2 locations, PSAC up in the Bronx by the Hutch, I believe it is, and also at Mentorship, right? As a 911 operator, you are crucial in terms of communicating to, cops to FD about people who are in need, and also being able to assist people in getting them the help that they need, okay? And that job, starting salary is about 46 to 52, and you end up making about $62,000 after 3 years of service, okay? And also, some people, depending upon how many languages you speak up, and if you qualify with the city of New York, they will pay you a little bit extra because they need that particular language in certain communities to be able to speak that language, okay? So that's that. And you can start that job as early as 17 years old. So as early as 17 years old, you can be employed as a full-time employee. Actually, I'm sorry, I take that back. 17 and a half to register for the exam, but you could be hired by 18 years old for this, okay? So as early as 18 years old, you could be billing towards your pension and retirement, okay? Traffic enforcement agent. You already know who these guys are. They're the ones who are making sure that people are following the rules out there in terms of traffic law, making sure that the flow of traffic is pretty smooth within the city, and also making corrective measures in terms of giving summonses, right? And for this particular job, you could again take the test at 17 years old and be hired by 18. Starts at 48,000, and after 8 years of service, it's approximately $56,000. Okay, and again, I had an old partner, right? Started working at McDonald's, like working in the corner store. Started working at McDonald's, right? Became a supervisor at McDonald's. Came over as a traffic agent. Became a police officer, right? And now is about to be a police sergeant, right? So just because where you start doesn't mean where you necessarily finish, okay? Now I'm going to be talking about my favorite title. Obviously, I'm a little biased because I'm a cop, right? Police officer, right? You can take the test as early as 17 years old, right? But you can't get high till 20, all right? Can't get high till 20 and a half. 20-year pension plan, right? So you could potentially retire by approximately 41 years old and get paid for the rest of your life. But besides that, right, how do you typically get a promotion if you're in a job? You want to get promoted to manager, you want to get promoted to district manager, what you gotta do? You gotta stick out, right? You gotta be in the right clique, maybe, right? Nah, not with NYPD, right? Yes, they're gonna look at your reviews and make sure that you're not a dirtbag, and make sure that you're doing the right thing, and you come into work, and make sure you don't got no crazy sick record, you're not abusing a sick record. But mostly, you gotta pass the next civil service exam. So the gentleman who's speaking, I don't know if, I believe he retired as lieutenant, right? So he took 3 exams. He took police officer, sergeant, and lieutenant exam to get where he was, right? And the way it works in civil service, once you pass that exam, right, unless it's not something crazy going on in your background or with the city, they have to promote you to the next position. So it becomes very even playing field for you to get promoted. There's no, if we like you, how'd you get promoted, sir?
Test.
That's it. But how'd you move up the ranks?
2 tests.
that's it. And you retired lieutenant, right?
Retired lieutenant.
You retired lieutenant, right? And that's by him, taking a course, putting in the study time, and trust me, these tests they're difficult, but you can do it, right? But he put in the hard work. You guys are here. You believe in boxing. You believe in conditioning your body. You guys are putting in the hard work. It's hot. It's hot outside. I'm sure you probably rather be laid up in your apartment with the AC or your house on, with the AC on, but you guys are down here working. So with discipline, right? With discipline, with taking the test, with going to the academy, with applying for these exams, with checking online to see when these exams come out. That's how you were able to retire like this man and be well. And now he's doing what he wants to do.
Don't sell this guy short, because he's smart. What grade are you?
I'm just third grade.
Third grade. He's a third grade detective, right? So I had to study my butt off to become a sergeant, and then a lieutenant, and it just wasn't in God's will for me to become captain for some reason. But we'll leave it at that. But there are detectives, right? They get third grade. That's the first step. If they get second grade, they get sergeant's pay. If they get first grade, they get lieutenant's pay. So there is politicking in the thing, in the department. You know what? Is it all right if I talk to you for a second?
Yeah, of course, of course.
All right. So actually, I think you'd be interested. Didn't you work with me some of this? Where'd you work with me? Where'd you work? 4-1? Yeah. Never worked with you, all right? Right? That's common name. All right. So let me just. I just want to talk, because I know some of you want to think about boxing. Right? Say one of you becomes such a good boxer that you're making money, right? You make money, right? We got 2 world champions out of here, right? Actually 3, because Marcus Brown was an interim world champion, right? All right. So that's out of the Staten Island gym, right? And Chris Colbert came closer. So here's how. Say you make $100,000. Does anybody think that's a lot of money for one fight? You make it there $100,000. Who wouldn't want $100,000? I know you want $100,000, right? Okay. So you're $100,000. Guess what? You got a manager and a promoter, right? Between the manager and promoter, they're getting somewhere between 15 to 30% of your purse, right? So let's say you got, not that big of a promoter or a manager. Let's say 20%. Your 100 grand just went to 80, right? Now, if you're a cop, right? If you're a cop, you're making about $150 a year top pay. You make with overtime and stuff like that, right? You're getting that steady paycheck, right? Out of that 80 grand, right? You got to pay. Who do you got to pay? Uncle Sam, right? You got to pay taxes, right? They're definitely taking at least a third. So that's like another $24,000, right? So now you're down to what? $56,000, right? Do you think you own your rent? You think you're late on your rent? Because this is the first 100 grand you got in 6 months. You don't get a fight but a couple times a year, and this was a big fight, right? You understand? So you got to pay your rent. You got, like, if you're a cop and you're making 150 grand a year, you think you're living large? You're not. You're not. Right? So if you make 100 grand a year as a fighter, right? You're making just a fraction of what people make. You have to make money. You have to make a paycheck, right? So I was just telling these guys, you know Ricky Frazier? You ever heard of Ricky Frazier? He was a cop that fought Roy Jones. Right. So there's this cop named Ricky Frazier, right? He never did overtime, so he made the minimum as a cop, right? Because he also trained as a professional boxer, and then somehow Don King got involved and wanted to like he wanted to put a cop. He wanted to put Roy Jones against a cop. He goes, no, we're gonna help the community. And you know, he offered Rick Frazier, I forgot what he offered, but you know, maybe 150 grand, 200 grand. That was back in the day, right? He made that kind of money, right? He said, I'll give you a fight. And he told him, if you don't take this fight, I got 4 other cops I can call and 3 fired. You know, like, you understand? So Ricky took that fight. So he did well. He took that fight. He got knocked out in 3 rounds, right? It was good because if you last 10 rounds and you get knocked out then you really took a terrible beat, you know? So he made that. He took whatever money he got out of it and he put it as down payment for a house, right? That's a good thing, right? If you take a look at some of the other fighters, like they kind of got up there, they might have one big payday, right? They waited all their lives for that big payday. And now if you lose, nobody wants to fight you again. Nobody's going to offer you money for it again. You know, you need a job, you need a job, right? You're not going to, you know, you got your one big payday. Uncle Sam took a part of it, the managers took a part of it, the promoter took a part of it. You know, your landlord wants their back pay, your credit cards, you paid your credit cards off, now you got nothing, right? And if you're an American kid, you probably bought yourself a car saying like, oh, I got money to buy a car, and now you don't even know how you're gonna pay the insurance on that car because it costs so much money. You understand what I'm talking about? So having a job is there, and what I really want to get for you is that school safety agent assistant. This thing came out of nowhere, right? You just need school safety agent assistant. It's an application. It's not even a test. Get in there if you can, right? Don't they try to help you? Like they try to get you somewhere like near your house or near the location.
They try to make it just feasible and easier for you to get to work, and because they realize that that is a thing, right? That's a real thing.
Right. Did they do that for you as a rookie officer?
They gave you a dream sheet, but I ended up in the Brownsville dream.
There you go. There you go. They stuck me in Brownsville and said, hey, go ahead. Yeah.
It was close to home.
Right. Like that too. You always travel something. With school safety agents, they actually try to give you where you want to be. I would get you around here, right, so that you go. It's like going to school and then coming to the workout. You understand? It's a huge thing. And you put pension use, right? A guy like you who's real smart, right? You would do like a few years here, become a boxer, win your 50 grand, and then switch over to transit, and then take over transit. There's people in transit that moved all over. But all these years that you do up front, they count in your pension. You know? How many years you got? 13. 13? How about you? 14? So imagine if you had like another 5 or 6 years of school safety before that you could just throw on your pension.
So my old boss, I'm not gonna mention his name, but my old boss did school safety like 5 or 6 years. He retired. What was it called? So special assignment sergeant. Special assignment sergeant, and he pretty much retired with he retired making was like lieutenant's pay, right?
Yeah.
So you making lieutenant's pay as a special assignment sergeant, and then he had school safety years in the back, so he pretty much retired with a 26-year pension.
26-year pension.
So he's different ways to do it,
What that means is he's making over $100,000 a year to sit at home. And that's what it means. Today's money, over $100,000 to sit at home.
So just talking, since we're on the topic of money, So your pension is one thing, right? But you also get what's called the 457. So if you invest, and you should invest, even if it's as, when you start out, you might feel the pinch a little bit of being a rookie, right? So even if you start with a minimum percentage, and as you go up, you increase it. But you have your 457, your 401k, people know what a 401k is? So already we got your pension, you got your 457, you got your 401k, your union has an annuity for you, and every mid-December, you get what's called a variable supplement, right? So this is 5 different accounts that you're building throughout your whole entire career. I had a detective who retired from my own precinct, and she was making in retirement about $15,000 or $16,000 a month to sit at home.
That's insane.
All right, and this is from the city of New York. Thank you.
Yeah.
God bless the city of New York.
Yeah, really. Everything changed. I retired pre-COVID, but if I retired post-COVID, it would have literally been another like $5,000 a month on my pension. But 60 grand a year. The numbers get ridiculous, but the numbers, so the way numbers work in interest, in building up interest, the numbers work like this. In the beginning, it's nothing. In the middle, it's nothing. Towards the end, it's nothing. All of a sudden at the end, it just explodes. It just explodes. Like all of a sudden, you just like, like if you're making 10% of $20, that's like $2, right? $200, right? You're making 10%, it's $20, it's nothing, right? $2,000 or $200, that ain't gonna change my life, right? Once you get to big numbers, you're talking things that will change your life, So that's why it's important to get in here now. I know I'm stressing it, but it's probably the most important things that you can do is to build up a pension. It's like what you're doing is you're building up a pension before you start your career. And then when you do your career, if you do a city pension, you just throw this on top of it and just go boom, right? That's what I'm talking about.
But also besides the aspect, because it will make you financially sound and you'll be comfortable because there's a lot of options you have working for the city or working for NYPD. But besides that, imagine that you could have a clear mind knowing that every 2 weeks, you're gonna get paid, you're gonna have a job, you're gonna be able to take care of your family, and you only have to do that for a minimum of 20 years. And then you get to do whatever you want to do. This gentleman is giving back by doing what he loves. I'm sure he's in the gym, working out with you guys, and you get to do what you really want to do. A lot of times people retire from other places. You work at Chase, you work at a hospital, whatever the case may be, and then they have so many health problems. You don't get to enjoy retirement. So take care of yourselves. Keep in the gym, stay in the gym, do what you love here, but also take care of your career as well, and your goals and aspirations as well. And one way to do it is really by getting into a city gig. And we have a plethora of opportunities available to you with NYPD. All right? So if you guys have any questions, you guys want to come over to talk specifically about certain positions, we'll help you guys at least create DCAS accounts. Some of these exams are not out right now. The police officer exam, for example, comes out the first 2 weeks in June, right? And it's going to be free. If you are
college, so you can take.
Yeah, it's only 24 college credits needed for police officer. And by the way, right, those 24 college credits don't need to be had in a brick and mortar school. Sophia Learning, we take those credits all day, every day, right? That's one example of how you can go online and get your credits, right? It's $100, it's a subscription, and you can go and take as many classes as you want to. And then we take those credits as well. So there's no need to get into this whole expense in terms of going back to college and paying all these fees. You could actually get all your credits through an organization like that, or FEMA, right? With the other options that we have, school safety agent, assistant school safety agent, traffic enforcement, 911 operator, you don't need any college credits, right? You don't need that. You could just have age and have work experience. That's all you need to get into these opportunities, all right? So if you guys have any questions, if you guys want to come over, if you guys want to explore some different options, you want to take away some information, we'll gladly, we're here. So, all right?
Listen, for the school safety. She's gonna help you read this out. Get your phone, get your phone. Get your phone. Get your phone. Get online. You need them to sign it.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody come here and sign something. Everybody come here and sign. Sign that you too.
So how many people are interested in the school safety? Okay, you're between 18 and 21, right? Yeah. Okay, so if you're 23, you're out of it, you either have to apply to one of the police officers, school safety, traffic, whatever the case may be. But 18 to 21, I can put your information in. Okay, school safety agent. Okay, get your phone and I'll show you.
Mike, get your phone. Mike, get your phone.
Whoever's interested in school safety, just make a line over here so I can know if you're interested in anything else.
Anyone 18 to 21 interested in school safety?
You're interested in housing.
He's 19.
Okay. You're interested in what? Police officers, in traffic,
Then can I pick two options? Like then I want the option.
Yeah.
or he can do the school safety. It's not
What do you got, make a decaf? She's gonna show me. Both of us. She's got all this. I want you to sign it. Everybody has to sign it. Make sure you sign
I'm giving it to you.